So, for the summary of the situation, a customer bought a shoes during a sale. The receipt stated that the shoes could not be returned. After wearing the shoes, the customer decided that they did not fit properly. The customer went back to the store and asked for a refund. The clerk reminded the customer about the non-return policy, but the customer complained loudly in front of other shoppers. The clerk called the store manager for help, and to avoid further disturbance, the manager agreed to give a refund. For end result ethics that focuses on the result and the outcome, in this situation, the buyer requests the refund for an item. The employee explained that the request does not meet the store refund policies. However, the buyer insists and pressures the manager to make an exception. Even though the manager eventually agreed and the buyer received the refund, the outcome raises ethical concerns. This action may lead to negative consequences. Employees may feel stressed or unfairly treated. The store could suffer financial losses due to policy exception. It may also encourage other customers to use aggressive behavior to get special treatment. Therefore, although the result benefits the buyer and give a special outcome for the buyer, the overall outcome shows that the action is unethical when considering its wider impact. Duty ethics focuses on responsibilities and rules. In this situation, the receipt clearly stated that the shoes were not returnable. The buyer had a responsibility to respect the store policy after agreeing to the terms at the time of purchase. By ignoring the stated rules and creating public pressure to get a refund, the buyer acted unfairly and disrespectfully. From a duty ethics perspective, the action is considered wrong because it violates agreed rules and responsibilities. The possible outcome is that the buyer's behavior is viewed as unethical and immature. Trust between customers and employees may decrease, and employees may also feel stressed and demoralized due to constant pressure from customers who do not follow policies. Social contract ethics focuses on following the norms, values, and rules of the group or community. In this situation, society expects both businesses and customers to behave respectfully and reasonably. Customers have the right to complain if they are dissatisfied, but they should communicate in an appropriate and respectful manner. By creating scene and causing conflict, the buyer ignored this social expectation. From a social contract ethics perspective, the buyer's behavior is considered unethical because it disrupts respectful communication and social harmony. The possible outcome is that public conflict may create discomfort for other customers. The store manager may give the refund only to restore peace, not because the claim is justified. In the long term, the buyer's action may damage social trust and weaken respectful communication standards between customers and businesses. Personalistic ethics is based on individual conscience, values, and personal morality. In this situation, the ethical judgment depends on the buyer's personal belief and character. If the buyer values honesty and respect, they may later feel guilty for using anger and pressure to obtain the refund. However, if the buyer prioritizes personal satisfaction, they may believe their actions were justified because they achieved the desired result. From a personalistic ethics perspective, morality is determined by the individual's own sense of right or wrong. The possible outcome is that the buyer may experience personal regret or guilt after the incident. On the other hand, the buyer may also feel satisfied after successfully receiving the refund. The situation may also affect the buyer's self-image and personal integrity depending on how they reflect on their behavior. This perspective emphasizes whether the individual personally believed the action was morally right or wrong. In this kind of situation, the best approach is duty ethics. Duty ethics emphasizes the importance of following rules, responsibilities, and store policies. Since the receipt clearly stated that the shoes were not returnable, the customer should respect and obey the policy after making the purchase. Instead of using pressure or creating conflict, the customer should communicate politely and professionally to solve the problem. Respectful communication helps maintain trust between customer and employees and creates a fair environment for everyone. As an ethical customer, would I be likely to do this in the real life situation? The answer is no, because I will not choose to be difficult customer to the staff because they are only following company policies and responsibilities. Instead of creating pressure or conflict, I will communicate politely and respectfully to solve the issue. If I really wanted to change the shoes, I will ask whether it is possible to exchange them for another size or find another suitable solution. For the conclusion, ethical negotiation should focus on honesty, respect, and calm communication. In situations involving disagreements or refund issues, customers should communicate politely instead of using pressure, anger, or intimidation.